Hi, I am Dania from Malaysia, and I will present urbanization in Malaysia, challenges and way forward. And the theme I choose for this is Sustainable Development Goals 11, which is Sustainable Cities and Communities. The first slide is about scenarios and current urbanization challenge in Malaysia. The first is migration patterns, labor, and supply to aging country status. Malaysia is experiencing a significant increase in the aging population, with the number of Malaysians 60 years and above projected to increase from 1.4 million in 2015 to 3.3 million in 2040. This demographic shift is accompanied by a decrease in the working age population, leading to a greater demand for migrant workers to maintain the labor force. Adaptability to climate change. Deforestation, air pollution, and water pollution are a significant environmental issues in Malaysia, with deforestation being particularly alarming due to a lucrative palm oil industry. The country ranks 116th among the countries most affected by extreme weather events between 2000 and 2019, with flood particularly detrimental. Climate change also threatens public health in Malaysia, primarily through the proliferation of vector-borne diseases and heat-related illness. Next is insufficient and quality affordable houses. The issue of affordable houses in Malaysia is a significant challenge, with the gap between incomes and housing affordability continuing to widen. From 2002 to 2019, the disparity between median houses price and annual median household income has nearly tripled. In Malaysia, the housing affordability ratio has been above 3 times in recent decades. The problem is not limited to affordability but also includes the mismatch between the housing supply and demand. Last is connectivity and networking public transport. Malaysia must improve connectivity and networking in its public transportation system. The region experiencing the most rapid urbanization is experiencing significant growth in population and urbanization, leading to increased demand for efficient and reliable public transportation. However, the existing public transportation system faces issues such as inadequate connectivity, lack of integration between different modes of transportation, and inefficient scheduling. However, the existing public transportation system faces issues such as inadequate connectivity, lack of integration between different modes of transport, and inefficient scheduling. These scenarios and challenges directly affect the sustainable cities and communities in Malaysia. Migration can weaken the bond in local community by reducing the cohesion and social capital within the community. The research results suggest that migration can lead to a shift in the population, with people moving to different locations for various reasons, such as employment, education, or housing. This shift can decrease the number of people who know each other, reducing social networks and community bonds. Regarding sustainability, climate change can undermine efforts to achieve long-term environmental, social, and economic sustainable goals. It can disrupt ecosystem, reduce biodiversity, threaten food and water security, increase the risk of natural disaster, and lead to economic losers. Addressing climate change is crucial for ensuring the sustainability of ecosystem, communities, and economies in the face of this challenge. Sustainable development practices that prioritize climate resilience, emission reduction, and adaptation strategies are essential to mitigate the impacts of climate change and promote long-term sustainability for future generations. Next, the lack of affordable housing can increase housing costs, which can strain household budgets and limit their ability to afford necessities such as food, healthcare, and transportation. This can lead to financial instability and increased poverty, which can have long-term impacts on the economic sustainability of communities. So, how to solve all the challenges and issues? These issues can be solved through policy making, which is categorized by urban policy. So, urban policy is a course of action adopted and pursued by government, business, or some other organizations which seeks to improve or develop cities, towns through land use planning, water resource management, central city development, pollution control, policing and criminal justice. So how to adapt this in Malaysia? There are 3 planning governance in Malaysia: federal, regional, state and local authorities. Malaysia has the 4th level for development planning framework. The first level is national planning, followed by regional or state planning, local planning and micro planning, which must abide by the guidelines from each level. Federal governance is responsible for planning national documents. State governance must interpret the national documents in their structure plan. Local authorities need to align the structure plan as their guideline when doing the planning at the local level. At the same time, micro-planning must follow the local planning documents for its outcomes. National Urban Policy is an example of a basic framework for planning, developing and managing urban centers that has been used in Malaysia and will always have an update after 10 years to tally the guidelines with current scenarios in Malaysia. National Urban Policy 2 is the current urban policy until 2025 in Malaysia. It contains 36 objectives, 62 strategies and 113 actions that cover 5 principles, which are good urban governance, livable city, Principle 3, urban competitive economy, inclusive and equitable urban development, green development and clean environment. The implementation for national urban policy is short-term, medium and long-term, with specific goals to be achieved. So overall, the achievement evaluation for national urban policy, both with cooperation from local authorities, federal and state departments and agencies. The expected problem for implementation policy is that all agency cooperation needs to be good. If not, the implementation will be fulfilled partially. Second is public support rather than agency only. The public must support federal government policy by respecting the policy and understanding the limits of urbanization. Lastly, there are always financial consequences to policy actions that need substantial funding to be implemented. Financial implication happens when it needs a high cost to run well, because only some state or local agency have established finance to achieve it. Therefore, it is essential to ensure that the policymaking process can be effectively executed at the level of agencies, without ignoring the financial consequences or any other implication that might lead to unsatisfactory actions in policymaking. So I think it's relevant that policymaking can help to achieve SDG 11, which is Sustainable Cities and Community in Malaysia. Thank you.